Hello and good evening and welcome to something that hasn't happened in a good long time. I am developing some film tonight, so you are joining me for some constant agitation. I've shot some film for the first time this year, which means here we are. And this is also a couple of other occasions. I have rejoined the ranks of being a Twitch affiliate. So there's that. So if you subscribe to my channel, you'll get some emotes. And to mark the occasion, first I'm going to turn this down. To mark the occasion, I am doing charity streaming all month long. Every stream I do this month, I am raising money for the Trevor Project, which is an organization that helps LGBTQ youth just to reach out and talk to someone. A lot of queer kids live in fear, and they're surrounded by lies and misinformation and need a place to turn to. And the Trevor Project provides that vital service, especially in light of the fact that the Trump administration is shutting down in 9 days. They're shutting down the National 988 Suicide and Crisis Prevention Hotline specifically for queer people. The other trees, it's called the Press 3 option. That's the line that would get you diverted to a counselor, and that is getting shut down because the Trump administration calls it nothing more than an excuse to bait and lure kids into radical gender ideology or some such slop. So that's where the Trevor Project comes in, and it's something that I wish I had when I was a kid and discovering my own queer identity instead of needing to shove it down into the closet for 2 decades. So if you are able to, the donate link, you can pull it right up in the chat by hitting !donate, and that's what I'll be doing all month long. So if you can contribute, excellent. Great, thank you so much. If you can't, and I understand, money's tight, I get it, then all I ask is that you just spread the word. So, thank you so much. Hey, Anxious Doe, there you go, right there. For every $100 that we raise, I will be doing a giveaway, and that giveaway could come in the form of video games. It could come in the form of art. If we hit a multiple of 100 tonight, art will be the giveaway, because, hey, keep it thematic. So, but that is the spiel. So tonight I'm going to be developing some film. So I'm currently in the middle of setting up for that. And if you've seen me do this before, then you obviously know what's coming. But if you haven't, then I'm going to walk you through everything that I do to develop black and white film. And so, let's before I start actually that process, I was just in the middle of proportioning out my chemicals accordingly, and I'm going to explain what each one does over the course of the evening. I'm developing 2 rolls tonight, so you'll see me develop 2 rolls, one right after the other. And I'm just portioning out what I need for each roll. 20 ounces of each chemical. Now I use 5 chemicals when I develop film. You only need 3, and I'll again explain what those are in great detail. And we have our first donation right off the rip. Thank you so much, Veronica. Thank you so much for your $50 donation. Good Lord, thank you so much. Already a 10th of the way to the goal. Oh. Bless you, my dear. Yeah, that's Dev. So that's my developer. That is my stop bath. I need my fixer. Again, those are the 3 required chemicals. There's my fixer. Yep. Yeah, that's fixer. As I breathe deep. As I will explain as I go on, the only chemical that produces a scent is the fixer. All of my other chemicals are odorless, which can be a problem. All right, and I'll shove some thermometers in my developer and in my fixer, because the temperature of my chemicals is going to determine my developing time. Let me make some room. All right. I do not need this jug of distilled water clogging up the works. Right. So, let's develop some film. So, you obviously notice that I am not in a darkroom. And for developing film, a darkroom is not needed. You just need to start a film changing bag. It's actually upside down. It is a double layered bag in which you shove your sleeves through here and you do all of your film changing and film loading into the development tank in this bag. Again, it's double layered. It's got Velcro on the top layer and it is zippered in the center layer. And these sleeves have an elastic around them that give a nice tight grip to your arms. You have to do everything by feel. And yeah, so this is really the hardest part of the whole thing. The first step in this process is the hardest because again, everything has to be done by touch. So into this bag, we put in a film developing tank. Now, the film that I am developing tonight is what's called medium format film. It's the same stuff as 35 millimeter film. It's just bigger. It's almost twice as wide. So it looks like this. And 35 millimeter roll only comes up to about halfway on this thing. And so I shoot with medium format now predominantly because when you have a larger negative, it gives basically the equivalent of more resolution. You get sharper detail than you would a 35 millimeter negative, which for most people is fine. But this again, there's more light to strike the surface of the film and allows you for more detail. So I'm developing 2 of these tonight, and they're both the same. Ilford Delta 400 speed film, and I would develop this as I would a 35 millimeter roll. The only difference being is that because this is a larger size film, it means I need more chemical to develop as opposed to 35 millimeter. I'm using twice as much as I would with a 35 millimeter. So, what does the developing tank consist of? Well, fully assembled, it looks like this. And the film would go in the bottom of this tank. So, the components of this tank, we have our lid. We have our light tight funnel here. This goes right in the top, and you pour your chemicals into this funnel. And then in the tank itself, we have this reel. which can be reduced to, if I was going to develop 35 millimeter, it's expandable. So I just expand it. I'm going to shoot. I'm going to develop medium format. I just watch as half of my spool goes off into the distance. The film is a chunky boy, yes. So let's try this again. So if I was going to develop 35 millimeter, I would collapse it all the way down, lock it into place, and now it's set for 35 millimeter. For medium format, I expand it out. Just line up the little plasticky bits. That's not how I want to align it. I want to align it so that my film guides are right next to each other. There we go. I align it so that my film guides are parallel to each other so that they're not off kilter like that. So now it's set for 35 millimeter. It would then go on this spool here into this empty tank. So goes in here, goes in here. This clicks into place, lid goes on, and you're ready to go. So all this would go into this bag. I'm going to do that in just a minute. I'm going to do it twice, actually, because I have 2 rolls of film to develop. But, so the object of this game is to get the film from here to here, and then assemble this entire setup, and be good to go. Again, this is the hardest part for a newbie film photographer because you cannot expose this to light. If you do, you will be a sad panda. You will have ruined your film. So let's do that now. So I'm just going to adjust my camera accordingly, and you're going to see me do this. You're going to see me do this twice. All the components right out here. What is the film? What is the subject of the film I'm developing today? Both rolls of film are cemeteries. There is an old cemetery in Hudson, New York, about 25, 30 minutes or so south of where I live. It is a cemetery that dates back to about 1775 and is no longer in active use, save for special occasions, and decided to go exploring. All right, so we zip up the inner layer. We Velcro the outer layer, and here we go. Again, you're going to see me do this twice. All right, let's just get everything situated in here. There's the spool. Where's my film? There's my film. Okay. All right. All right. I am breaking open the sacred seal on the film here so I can start luring it out. All right, so I've broken the seal. Let's get the film. Where's the start of the film? There's the start of the film. There's my spool. We're loading it onto the spool. There we are. I think. Almost. There we go. And now we just wind the film. These rolls of medium format have a paper backing to them. And how I know I'm getting close to the end is, well, if I start to feel tension, and also there is a little piece of masking tape that holds the film to the plastic center of the original roll of film. So I just have to take that masking tape off. We don't need that in the developing everything. And then I just wind up the rest of the way. There we are. Now I'll take that center plastic piece that I can shove through the center of the spool. There it is. Shove that in the tank. Where's my funnel? There it is. Lock the funnel into place. There's my lid. Put the lid on. I feel like I'm on a Ronco commercial. Just turn the lid on and then set it and forget it. And here is roll of film number 1. So what we pulled off, this is the paper backing that sits behind the film and guides it as it moves through the camera. This is the piece of masking tape that holds the film to this center spool. This is the center of the roll. And once we've done that, then that's that. So that is the first roll of film. That'll go off to the side here. Just put that down there. And now we'll reel set up for number 2. What's my film chemistry at? 70 degrees, not too bad. Means I'll have to adjust the development time a little bit. All right, so let's get this second one in here. So this developing tank is a little bit different. For this one, the funnel itself actually screws in. It's not an insert and click. But fundamentally, it's still the same. So we got that. Put y'all in here. And good. You're going here. Roll of film number 2. So one thing about developing film in the summer is that because room temperature in my house, when I have the ACs on, bring it down to about 70, I don't need to break out my film chemistry adjusting device, aka my hair dryer, because usually then in the winter when I'm doing this, air temperature is between 62 and 64, and I have to raise the temperature of the film chemistry to get it up to between 68 and 70. All right, we're in. There's the plastic center. Lid, film, spool. Okay. Let's do this again. All right. Once again, I have broken the sacred seal. I just need to find the beginning of the film. There it is. There's my loading spool. Let's guide the film right to it. Did I have that backwards? Yes, I did. Okay, come on. Work with me here. Okay, good. There we go. There we go. Now we're loading. So, normally, if you've ever shot 35 millimeter, ooh, that doesn't feel right. No, there's tension there. There's tension I do not want. So I'm gonna that don't feel right. Can I get it the rest of the way? Yeah, there we go. Okay. There we go. It loosened itself up. Okay. All right, we're in there. Screw the funnel in. Put the lid on. Roll number 2's done. All right. And there we are. And that's the roll we're going to start with. Once again, there's my paper backing. There's my plastic center. Where's the masking tape? That's all right. I'll get it later. But now we're done. We don't need this anymore. So let's bring you back up. Okay. And I'm going to hydrate a bit because once I start developing, I cannot stop until it is done. And let's actually lay out our towel in case I spill any chemicals. So, now we've got our film loaded in here, and we are... There it is. We've got our film loaded in here, and so now we're ready to begin developing. So, there are 3 mandatory chemicals that you need to develop film. You need a developer, you need a stop bath, and you need a fixer. The developer, well, it does exactly what it says on the tin. The developer chemical reacts with the light-sensitive silver compounds that are on the emulsion of the film to bring out your image. The stop bath, also self-explanatory. It stops the developing process dead in its tracks. And then fixer removes all remaining undeveloped or unexposed silver, which then makes the film be able to be taken out and into the light without any damage, because the fixer fixes the image to the negative. And again, it does that by removing all remaining undeveloped silver. So those are the 3 mandatory chemicals. Now, I use 2 additional chemicals on top of this to make my life a little easier. So right normally. You do the developer for however long you need to, the stop bath and then the fixer, and then you just leave the film under running water for 20 to 30 minutes or so to get all remaining residual fixer off. I shorten that time. This is what are the two additional chemicals I learned how to use in college, and they've just become habit and part of my routine at this point. I use something called Wash Aid, and what Wash Aid does is that it is a chemical that removes any lingering fixer after I dump it out and cuts down on my final rinse time from 20 to 30 minutes down to 5. And then the last one I use is a chemical called Ilfotol. The best way I can describe that is that think of it like Jet Dry. If you have a dishwasher, you use Jet Dry, and what that does is it prevents water spots from forming on your dishes. Ilfotol is the same thing, but for film. It makes it so that as your film is drying, it doesn't leave water spots. It reduces water spots because nothing is more frustrating than trying to edit out a water spot on film. It's difficult enough in the darkroom, and it is also difficult in Photoshop or Affinity or Capture One or whatever you use. So, and because I shoot using Ilford film, I use Ilford chemicals. That's not a hard and fast requirement. I just do it, again, to keep everything consistent because Ilford makes its film, any film developer, Ilford makes its film so that you get the best results using their chemicals, just like Kodak, Agfa, Fuji, whatever. Again, not a hard and fast rule. When I was in college and shot Ilford HP5, I used whatever was on hand in the college darkroom, which was typically Kodak D76 and off-brand stop bath and fixer and what have you. So, again, not a hard and fast requirement. I just like to keep things consistent all across the board. So, this particular, both developing tanks hold 20 ounces of liquid. So what you saw me doing right at the start of the stream was I portioned out my chemicals so that I've got 20 ounces of developer, 20 ounces of stop bath, and 20 ounces of fixer. And then there'll be 20 ounces of Wash Aid and 20 ounces of Ilfotol. So right along the line. So, you're ready to go. But one last variable before you start is you need to know how long to have your developer playing around in the developing tank for. And that is dependent on a number of things. Well, first of all, it's dependent on the type of film that you use. And it is also dependent on the specific chemical that you use. I am using Ilford ID11, that is their standard developer. And the temperature that developer is, because the warmer your developer temperature, the quicker it's going to take to develop. The ideal temperature, the temperature that Ilford recommends for its film, is 68 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 20 degrees Celsius. And so I have a thermometer in here. And before I get to that, Anxious Stowe has a question. How long did it adjust to this process as opposed to a darkroom for you? Fun fact, my first photo class that I ever took was in my senior year of high school, and the film changing bag method was the method that we used because we did not have designated rooms for changing film, the way my college did. So that was the way that I initially learned how to do it. And so when I attempted to do what you just saw in a dark room, in a designated film changing room, I found that to be, just a little weird in the sense that I wasn't used to it, but I adjusted pretty quickly. And then when I went back to developing film at home, I bought a film changing bag, and it was just, yeah. But my first couple, I have ruined Not many, thankfully. And when I was learning, there were a couple of times that I ruined film because I overhandled it. I just trying to get it onto the spool was a struggle, and the longer your hands sit in that bag, the sweatier they get, which then makes your job harder. And then if the film gets damp, then it's just, oh, no. So, all right, so we're in here. What is the temperature of my developer? My developer is showing at 70 degrees. So, for the film that I am using, Ilford Delta 400 speed film, the developing time at 68 degrees is 14 minutes. And I just know that by memory because I've developed dozens of these rolls. But it is 70 degrees, which means I have to adjust the development time just a hair because we are 2 degrees higher than 68. And I do not have my handy-dandy chart with me, so I am going to look up that conversion. Film processing chart. Okay, so that's at 68. I don't want 68. Ah, there it is. There's the compensation chart. Okay, 70 degrees, 21 degrees. So if I develop it at 14 normally, at 70 degrees, it's 12 minutes and 30 seconds. So between 12:30 and 13 minutes. Okay. Cool. All right, so let's just do this. I'm going to put something up so that y'all can follow along. So step one. Step one is the developer, and I'm going to lower this a little bit so that you can all see what I'm doing once again. Yeah, there we go. You don't necessarily need to see my face for this. So okay, yep, that is my developer. All my chemicals that I use are colorless, except for the stop bath, which looks like a very dehydrated person's piss. And Fixer, which is colorless but not odorless. Fixer smells like smells like vinegar, which this absolutely does. I also label my canisters with developer stop or fix so that I know what I'm doing. All right. So I'm going to turn my timer on. Now my timer defaults to 14 minutes. So once that runs down to about 13 minutes, 12 minutes, 45 seconds, then that's when I will pour this first chemical in. So let's just get that timer going. And this will be the first roll of... Oh, let me get that Web Creative off for the time being, just so that we can all see. Actually, let's just slide you over live on the fly. So because the light tight funnel is in here, I have to open this lid. I can open this lid, I should say, and it will not harm the film. You need some way to pour in the chemicals, so. Yep, 70 degrees. So at 12:45, let's start. Once this goes in, I have to see it through to the end. And we're off. We're in. Now we have our chemistry in. We have to constantly agitate for the first 30 seconds. And then every 10 seconds afterward. Every 10 seconds at the top of every minute. So we are coating the film in here, and we are underway. Just going to let it go for its other 10 seconds. And we'll re-agitate when it gets down to the stroke of 11 minutes. Well, now that that's starting, let's start getting our rinse water ready. So let's do that. Let's get our temperature going. So I want to take this time to make sure that my rinse water is also around 70 degrees. I like to keep all of my temperatures consistent, so that the film is not exposed to varying wild extremes, which could damage the emulsion. All right, agitate for 10 seconds. All right. So yeah, this is what I do. We're underway at this point. So once again, if you are joining me this evening, first of all, thank you for stopping by. I always enjoy the pleasure of your company. But this is also the first charity stream that I am doing for the month of July. All my streams this month are going to be charity streams raising money for the Trevor Project. If you want to directly donate, just type in !donate and the link will pop up on the screen. And if you do not know what the Trevor Project is, they are an organization that provides resources for LGBTQ youth facing fear, lies, hostility, and they need a safe space to connect with someone. And the Trevor Project provides that service. They are very critical. It's something I wish I knew about when I was a kid, when I was figuring out my own queer identity. And in light of the Trump administration's crusade against queer individuals, specifically transgender individuals, this is important. This is really, really important. Our administration is trying to pretend that queer people don't exist. And no. We have always existed. All right, coming up on 9 minutes, I will do an agitate at the 9-minute mark and check the temperature of that water behind me. Damn straight, Veronica. All right, our rinse water is at 76. Let's tone it down a little bit. I want to get it down in between 68 and 70. And again, for every $100 that we raise, I will be doing a giveaway. If we hit any of those milestones this evening, the giveaways are going to be art-related. In fact, the giveaway is going to be, I'm going to be mailing the winner of the giveaway a print from either of these rolls that I'm developing tonight. So if you like cemeteries... So my stream schedule for at least the next week This Friday, I'm doing a video game stream, my Friday night stream. I am starting a playthrough of Chrono Trigger. And then this weekend, I am doing 16 hours of video games. I'm doing 8 hours on Saturday, 8 hours on Sunday. And I'm going to be playing a variety of games in an attempt to raise money. I know that I'm going to be probably playing some Celeste. I am probably going to be playing some Hades as I try to relearn my muscle memory in preparation for Hades 2. Aw. I understood your meaning, Anxious Doe. I understood. Clearly, I'm not dead. How is my rinse water doing? Almost. 72. Nudge you down a little bit more. So if you ever were curious and wanted to shoot black and white film photography, and didn't know where to start, well, cameras, 35 millimeter cameras, are actually pretty easy to find, especially used. Most places, most big names don't sell them, make them anymore, so you can very easily find one on eBay, a 35 millimeter one, for pretty cheap. And then the initial outlay for everything that I just showed you is between 150 and 200 bucks. But then once you get all that, the only expense after that is just the replenishment of chemicals, which, not that bad. Developer, for example, is very cheap because typically it comes in a powder that you have to reconstitute. So the other stuff already comes in liquid concentrate, but the developer is powder, and you have to mix it up. At least ID11 you do that. I don't know about the other Ilford developers. Four and a half minutes to go in step 1. Step 2 is stop bath, and that's very quick. That's about a minute. We dump the developer out. We're going to pour the stop bath in here, and then we just constantly agitate that for about between 30 and 60 seconds. Stop the developing, dump that out, and then pour the fixer in. I missed my 4 minute. That's fine. Won't hurt it. If you are using voice to text, that was a little garbled there. You're going to be in the background and keep while I fill it. Yes. I mean, you don't have to. I mean, if you want to 100% the game, go right ahead. I haven't. I did not in my first playthrough. Second playthrough, I will probably 100% the game. Hey, low bass guy. Long time no see. I am doing fine on this warm summer Tuesday. How about you? Well, that goes on. Let me just check my rinse temperature here. I'm still hovering around 72. Let's lower that a little bit more. He heard constant agitation and assumed he was being summoned. I mean, that could make for an interesting, like a D&D character or familiar who only appears at the phrase constant agitation. I actually do have constant agitation merch on my Redbubble store. The illustration was drawn by another wonderful artist. It goes by the name of Tiny Dragon on Fire, at least on Twitch. The highlight of your day is you started a new scented candle. This one is peach. All right, cool. You have peach. My space here is starting to acquire the smell of photographic fixer. So, you know, it's all good. All right, final millet of step 1 here. We're going to be dumping this out very shortly. But yes, I will be hydrating before we start this. That would be. All right, so stop bath is coming in very soon. All right. I'm going to pour this right now. Come back and pour the stop bath right in. That stops the process. And we're gonna, that's fine, that's cooking. We'll just do this for about a minute. Another 10 more of these inversions, I would think. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, cool. We're just going to stop that and move over to Fixer, which is next. That link to my Redbubble store, if you want your constant agitation merch, is at that card link, that brianjfrench.card.co. So in Ilford's Stop Bath, which is aptly named Ilfo Stop, the active ingredient here is lactic acid, not lactic acid, citric acid. And because of that, it means that if you have reconstituted stop bath sitting in storage for a long time, it will go moldy. All right, fixer. This step is usually between 3 and 5 minutes. And I forget what I have the timer on. I have for 4, yeah, right in between. And this is treated the same way as developer. Constant agitation for the first 30 seconds, and then 10 seconds at the top of each minute. So again, what this part is doing is that it is removing any undeveloped silver. Whoa. And that's why I have the towel here. Yeah, it removes any remaining undeveloped silver. And so if I was an industrial photo lab, and this was something that I used to do when I used to work at Walmart in the photo lab, we had big containers that collected used silver from the machines, because even color film has small amounts of silver in it, not as much as black and white, but when you develop hundreds of rolls of film a day, it's measurable. And normally, if I developed a ton of film, then I would be saving this silver once I'm done with it. And I put it in a machine that was called a silver reclamation unit. And what it does is that it draws the silver out of solution. And if you're working in an industrial lab, usually that silver would be sent. It would be sent back to Kodak or Fuji or whatever, usually Kodak, and they'd recycle it and use it again in future film production. If I had a active darkroom, if I had a darkroom in my house, I would be taking this fixer once I'm done using it on the film. Used film fixer would then be used as a photographic print fixer for use in the darkroom. But since I don't have a darkroom, this is just going to get poured down the drain, and the amount of silver that is in these 20 ounces is so negligible it wouldn't be worth reclaiming. And I don't develop film anywhere near often enough. Low base, you could develop an entire series of bands using photographic terminology. Oh, you have more than one talent. You are an excellent photographer. Speaking of which, let's do this, since I don't have occasion to do it very often. Low Base Guy is a photography streamer and also the head honcho behind the web creative community on Discord. Great streamer, great photographer. Go follow him. All right, the 4 minutes have run out, so let us dump the fixer and give this its first rinse. Is my temperature good? Yeah, just about. Yeah, 72 degrees. I'm not going to be hurt over that. So we'll just move you right along. First rinse. And there's the bot reminding you that I am doing, this is a charity stream, and every stream I do this month is going to be a charity stream. So every art stream, every video game stream, be a charity stream raising money for the Trevor Project. So if you are able to donate, we very much appreciate it. If you are unable to, money's tight. I get it. I understand. Believe me. If you can't contribute, if you can't donate, then all I ask is for you to spread the word as I try to raise some money. So much appreciated. Thank you for doing so. So if I didn't have the other two chemicals, the Washade and the Ilfotol, this would be the final step. That would just be running for 20 to 30 minutes, and I could call it done. But I'm going to shorten that rinse time. So first rinse is done. That just gets the preliminary round of fixer off. Where is my lid? Like, where's my lid? Kind of need that. Especially for the Washade, which is on the floor. This I don't need to measure out. I have made enough. We do, yes. Thank you for reminding me. This is the... Josh Warner photo. Very similar. I'm using ID11, but it's the same thing. I'm using Ilford ID11, but it's the same exact process. In fact, whenever I try to buy developer and they're out of Ilford ID11, I use D76 as a backup. All right. First rinse done. Let's go to Washade. And Washade requires constant agitation for the entire time I am doing it. 2.5 to 3 minutes. So let's get to it. What you are witnessing, my friends, is the greatest invention of the machine age. The creation of a confectionery giant. So again, what this chemical is doing, the Ilford Washade, is that it is now removing any residual fixer that is still on the film, which is going to cut my final rinse time down from 20 to 30 minutes to 5 minutes. So we've got photographic fixer, Washade, and what was the first one? What was the first one you shared? But yes, welcome, Josh Warner Photo. This is the process of developing both 35mm and medium format. I'm developing some medium format film here tonight. So we are $50 away from our first giveaway, and any giveaways that happen on tonight's stream will be art giveaways. To the winner of a giveaway, I would be mailing them a physical print of an image that I develop on the 2 rolls that I'm developing tonight, which, you know, if you like old cemeteries, then these would be the images for you. All right, we have reached the end here of our wash aid, so the wash aid is going to get dumped out, and then now we're just going to rinse this out. And you see how it's all nice and sudsy? It's not soap. Not soap. Okay. 5 minutes. Let's rinse you all out. Old cemeteries. There you go. There's another one. So, while that's going on, fine, I will hydrate, and so will everyone else. Hydrate or dihydrate. So the second roll of film I have below here, we're going to start that shortly after. So while that final rinse is going on, I might as well reset my measures here. So fill my stuff up back to 20, which really should be the last. I only made just enough for 2 rolls. I do not like to have excess chemistry around because I never really know when I'm going to shoot film again. I had to throw out some old developer because it's about 6-7 months old, and even in a jug like this, in a dark in a dark cabinet, after 6 months, the developer does start to break down and starts to discolor. And so I had to chuck all that. Oh, something I didn't actually mention. So you can mix up your developer specifically in one of 3 different ways. So 3 ways that you could use on your film. The first is just using straight stock developer, which is it's the quickest time. Then there's the method that I always use, which is 1-to-1, which is 1 part stock to 1 part water. And then if you're really fancy, you can do 1-to-3, which is 1 part stock developer to 3 parts water. Unfortunately, none of my developing tanks allow for that capacity. It is also the longest in terms of developing time, for obvious reasons. I mean, I could do that. If I'm doing 1-to-3 on a 20 ounce, that'd be 5 ounces developer to 15 ounces water. No, I could do that. Hey, Lena! I am nearly done developing the first roll, but you are definitely in time for the second roll. And good evening. Long time no see, my friend. Just setting up my chemicals to get ready for roll number 2. I do have to come up to the mountains sometime. I miss the White Mountains of New Hampshire. I miss them a lot. Oh, I know. The White Mountains are full of photogenic shit. All right, we are just about done on the final rinse. But at this point, I can't really hurt it if I go longer than 5. It's not too bad. So we'll just... Excellent. I mean, this faucet came with the house, so I have not replaced it. All right, so what we're going to do at this stage now is we are going to... I'm going to keep the water running because I do have a second roll of film to develop and I don't want to adjust again. We're going to take this, empty out the water. Now it has been rinsed, the fixer has already happened to it, which means it is now safe for, public consumption, as it were. And it is also, where are you? It is also time for the, okay, there we are. It is time for the wedding agent, the Ilfotol, my film jet dry, as it were. So we can open this at this point. So there's the film. It's in there. Hey! The first bits. The first bits now that I have rejoined Twitch affiliate. Thank you so much. Wedding agent also sounds vaguely pornographic there, if we're being honest there, low base. All right, so this just sits in here for a minute once we are all poured out. Yeah, 1 minute. As opposed to the sex, yes. So we are a little over an hour in and just wanted to remind everyone that this is a charity stream. This is my first charity stream for the month. And all the money that is being raised tonight is going toward the Trevor Project, and you can do that if you are able to donate. It's !donate pulls up the link, and if you can donate, that'd be much appreciated. But if you can't, I understand, money's tight. I just ask that you spread the word. There's the link. And if we get to $100, then there's going to be a giveaway, of which I'm going to be giving away a print of one of these images that's being developed tonight. So, all right, Ilfotol is done. Let's dump you out. And now for the moment of truth. Now you get to see if I ruined this or if things look good. At which point I will race upstairs so I can hang this up to dry, and we'll get started on the second roll. So here we are. Let's see what we look like. Thank you so much, my friend. Hey, we've got images. We have images. Ooh, we've got some nice death. Very nice death. Most excellent death. Photo. All right. I am going to be right back. I got to race upstairs to let this dry. So back in a minute, everybody. You know, on the one hand, I am incredibly flattered that y'all think of me when you see death, because it just tickles my heart. Also, Mama Llama Sunshine, welcome on in. Missing you. And yes, at some point I'd love to have put a darkroom in this house. I certainly have the space for it. I just need money so that I can do the extensive plumbing work that I would need for that venture. All right, so one roll is down. We've got one more to go. So this is all set, and I already, if you saw me at the beginning of the stream, I already put the second roll in here, so that's already changed and good to go. So I'll just put you off to the side. Roll number 2. And again, thank you for the donations, Veronica and Lena. We are $40 away from giveaway number 1, which if we hit that tonight, the giveaway would be that I would mail you a physical print of one of the images of the cemeteries being developed tonight. So that would be the giveaway. So if you like my art and if you like dead things, let's see if we can bump that up to $100 and get a giveaway going, which will take place once I am done with this, if we hit that mark. All right, so because I've already prepared this, let me check my temperature. I might have to do the conversion again, so I'll give that a minute. And we're already... Nope, we're not on last step anymore. We are starting all the way back at the beginning. Thank you, bot, for putting the link up. All right. What is my temperature? Yeah, it's still 70 degrees, so I'm going to have to do, again, that conversion. So about 12 minutes and 45 seconds instead of the usual 14. So we're going to let that clock run down to 12:45. Because 14 minutes would be if my developer was at 68. We're not, we're at 70, so I have to compensate a little bit. But thank you all so much for spending some of your Tuesday evening with me. I always enjoy your company, so thank you so much. You know, I just attribute that to video game logic there. Low base. I always assume that it's just video game logic. It's like Resident Evil, like classic Resident Evil, especially Resident Evil 3, where there was just random barrels of explosives for maximum zombie carnage. All right, we are just about ready to go. So let's get the developer going. Yeah, that's odorless. Always have to check. And we're going. All right, developer is in. So now we're doing constant agitation for the next 40 seconds. Or thereabouts. As we once again cover the film in sweet, sweet developer. My hands smell like Fixer. It's wonderful. Also, Mama Llama, anytime you want to come up here and shoot film with me and develop film with me, I would love that. I have an extra 35mm should you ever want to. Or you can raid one from your parents, I'm sure. We'll have the classic Nikon Canon argument. Although my medium format is a Pentax, so you know. Yeah, my 35mm is a Canon. And my medium format's a Pentax. I don't actually know. Oh, goody! Although I am actually running low on film. I need to place another B&H order soon. As well as developer. Well, good! Well, good, Mama Llama. We'll talk later and see if we can have a photo day. So 1 week from, before I'm jumping ahead of myself. So my stream schedule for this upcoming week, obviously you are watching me doing this live. Also, this stream, like all my other streams, go up on my YouTube channel. So if you are watching this on YouTube during the month of July 2025, first of all, hello and thank you. And also, if you feel like donating, the link is popping up in the chat every so often, so obviously you won't be able to copy it, but you can, type it in. F4. Yes, good, good. Come up here. We'll go. We can go to the Rose Garden or the Arboretum. The I forget how you pronounce that. And also many dead things. And other things that you may or may not be interested in.
And other picture postcards.
We just need some time. We just need to find a day that you are willing to, a day or a weekend that you are willing to peel yourself away from the obligations of home. My rinse temperature actually got warmer. And now it's the coldest it's going to get. I love summer, where, you know, your cold water tap is going to be 74 regardless, because it is disgusting outside. The college darkroom that I used to use actually had a chiller for this exact purpose. So all the tap cold water ran through a chiller. I miss my college darkroom. I mean, I miss the art studios of college. I don't miss the schoolwork. I don't miss the coursework. I miss my all the time access to. I'm gonna stay with very few laws. I mean, Lena. The motto of your state is "Live free or die." So. The Florida of the North. If the Onion ever did regional, if the Onion ever did regional newspapers, instead of Florida Man, it would be New Hampshire Man. Oh, yay! Tell Katie hi for me and that I miss her dearly. For the gender reveal, Tannerite alone. Oh, what was the name of the stuff that the Mythbusters used to test the Hindenburg explosion? Thermite. Thermite, which sounds like a Pokemon, funnily enough. Your dog tried to fight a bear. Did your dog have to make a hasty exit pursued by a bear? Although bear could have a completely different context, depending on the conversation, now that I think about it. Ah! Your dog survived this day. More butchers than bear. Okay. I will have to visit you in your corner of New Hampshire and just, queer it up. Bears, as brought to you by this charity stream for the Trevor Project. Well done. Well done. Nice dovetailing. Well done. Thematically appropriate. You are, yes. Yes, you are. You left a much bigger pocket of queers to go to flee into the mountains. I was in Portsmouth last November. Three and a half minutes to go on the developer stage for this second roll. And once again, just reminding y'all, which I'm going to say a lot, is that I am raising money for the Trevor Project, which is an organization that offers guidance and counseling for LGBTQ youth. Because it's very, very important. It's something I wish I had and I knew about when I was a kid and struggling, questioning my own identity and not being in a safe environment to explore that at all. So, if you can, please donate. If you're unable to, that's fine. No judgment, no pressure. All I ask is that you spread the word. Much appreciated. Thank you for hitting that. So if you've never seen me doing a film developing stream before, the reason why we have to constantly agitate this during the developing process is that we always want fresh developer washing over the film. We always want to be mixing the developer so that the whole roll of film can be evenly developed. Because obviously different parts of the film are going to be exposed differently because it all depends on what I shot. So each image will have reacted with the silver in different ways. So we always want to keep that flowing, keep that moving. I mean, this is also Wrath Month as well as Disability Pride Month. So, there is that. In the final minutes of stage 1. Next stage will be the dehydrated person piss stage, which is very quick, only about a minute. Get ready. In you go. Now that stops the developer dead in its tracks. Do this for about a minute. I don't typically time this. This is a very quick stage. More of these. Don't skip arm day when you're doing this. I am definitely not a swole person. Excellent. Drink up, everyone.
This stuff looks like piss, it does.
Alright. Yeah. Yep, that's Fixer, alright. Sure. Alright. We'll put 4 minutes on the clock. And just like we did with the developer, constant agitation for the first 30 seconds, and then every 10 seconds at the stop of each, at the top of each minute. So here we go. Yay! Yeah, we're listening to music from a Final Fantasy VII remix album. Agitating a bomb countdown. Where are we? Yeah. This is the Trail of Blood theme. This is a Sephiroth theme. Ah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mary. Mwah. So my stream schedule for the rest of the week. So this Friday, it is my usual video game stream. I am beginning my 30th anniversary playthrough of Chrono Trigger. And then this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, I'm doing an 8-hour stream each day in which I'll be playing a variety of video games. I definitely know that there's going to be some Celeste in there. I also am going to be playing some Hades because I need to regain my muscle memory for Hades. In preparation for Hades 2, which I hear is going to be coming out of early access in the not too distant future. And Hades is one of the queerest games I have ever played, and it is such a delight. Slender the Arrival. But yeah, then after, so Chrono Trigger is going to take a while, and that's going to be a casual playthrough. I'm not going to be doing all 12 endings. Not going to be doing all 12 endings of that. Just the canonical ending, or the canonical ending. Yes. As is essentially the entire Greek pantheon, Anxious Doe. There was so much awesome fan art that I saw of Hades when that game came out and was taken out of early access. So much delightful fan art, so much NSF, so much not safe for work fan art. Beautiful stuff. That was actually what got started, funnily enough. It was just that's such a fun game. Yes. And when Hades 2 comes out, when it comes out of early access, get ready for a whole new round of smut. All right, Fixer stage is done. All right, so we're going to do first rinse. First rinse, that's going. Oh yeah, I spent so much time in the first Hades, and there's still so much post game I never played. So that'll probably be part of my weekend streaming. And then a week from tonight, I'm going to be doing photo editing. I'm going to be editing the stuff you're seeing me develop. So I'm also probably going to be doing a stream, at least one stream on Picardo at some point this month, because I still have images from the shoot that I did with Anxious Doe that still need editing. I made the trans grid, but there's still images that I need to edit, and I can't do that here. Twitch don't like nakedity. All right, what do I need now? Where's my, that's the last step. That's, nope, stop, that's empty. Do not want to develop wash aid. There we are. Swear to God, I pull out these big brown jugs, and these are meant for photochemicals. They are designed for photochemistry. But every time I pull one of these out, I always booze. Do not drink these chemicals. They are not pleasant. I would assume. I've never guzzled these chemicals. So I'll keep that in mind, my dear. All right. All right. 2 minutes and 30 seconds of constant agitation. Here we go. Let's get nice and sudsy. I remember seeing infomercials for shake weights. And the first time I saw one, I always was like, "Oh, that looks wrong. That looks so wrong." Oh yes, absolutely. But because of that, you know, one might think, what, is there an Olympic medal to be won in hand jobs? Also, just for those of you who didn't hear it the first time around, this is my first stream back as among the ranks of being a Twitch affiliate again. So there are emotes to be had if you subscribe. Some of which were created by Lena the Oddity, actually. Lena the Oddity, Glitching Icarus, and Tiny Dragon on Fire made my emotes. Yep. Alright, we are done with the washade. Let's go to the final rinse. It's the final rinsing. Let's lather up, people. God, why did I ever think I was straight? Seriously. Generational trauma is a hell of a drug, people. I mean, also growing up, being raised by a bigot and a homophobe will do that, but... Alright, 5 minutes on the clock, which means you get to... Nice. No, I realized when I rejoined the ranks of affiliate that I had more emote slots that I need to fill. So I may be reaching out to you, Lena, before too long. Also, Lena, if you are accepting commissions, feel free to share links in the chat. I don't know if you are, so. Because I saw you did some posts to that effect somewhat recently. And I think this still works, so... There we are. So, you see the web creative community logo down in the corner there. So I am part of that community. It is a Discord community that's got a lot of creators on it, a lot of photographers. It's a very, very vibrant and hopping community. So it's a nice place. If you want to join, there's the link. So I am starting to show my face there more often now because my life is taking us a bit of a break. It is not being upended. So I can start getting back to my Discord communities. Your book, okay, cool. Yep. Mm-hmm. Homeownership will do that. And fixing other people's mistakes. All right, let's get the last chemical ready. Let's get the ilfotol up on here. Thank you, bot. Hydrate, everybody. Important stress, and there are always things to do. I'm researching how to. I mean, my house is almost 200 years old. The next major project I have to do is replace windows that don't close anymore because they're too old. And then do things to stop my basement from flooding every time it rains. So yeah, right there with you. Mm-hmm. Six viewers. All right. $20 away from that first giveaway. Because we've already we're almost at 2 hours, which means the stream will be coming to an end in the next 5-10 minutes or so. Because this second roll is just about done. And regrettably, it is a work night. All right, final rinse is done. Actually, we can open this. Oh. Like I had gloves. Nurse, get me my sketch pad. Yes. I mean, also, just to paraphrase Carl Sagan, in order to develop film, you must first invent the universe. Not as tasty as apple pie, though. All right. All right. And once again, the moment of truth. Spirits above me, give me a sign. Shall I be joyous, or shall I be damned? Ooh, looking good. Looking good. I see dead things. Oh, this is my second roll. Yes, because this one had some of the burial vaults on it. Yes, this is my second roll. Very nice. All right. I'll be right back. Gotta put this up to dry, so back in a minute. Ah, all right. Well, now we're all done. All good there. Just all that remains for me is to wind this down. So, give you a quick last call for tonight's stream. If anyone wants to make any donations to my campaign raising money for the Trevor Project. If not tonight, there'll be plenty more opportunities this month for you to be able to do that or to share and spread the word around. So I'm very curious about how those images turn out. So what I'm going to be doing between now and the next art stream, a week from tonight, is that I'm going to take that film and I'm going to scan it. I have a flatbed scanner. Flatbed Epson scanner that I use specifically for scanning film. And I scan that at high resolution. And then I edit them. I'll be editing them in Affinity Photo. Although if I save them a specific way, I can edit. If I save them as a TIFF a certain way, then I could edit them in Capture One. So the Epson Perfection I have is the 800, and it is gorgeous. It is very sexy, and that thing can scan 35 millimeter. It can scan my medium format. It can scan slide film. It can scan 110 film, which is the very thin film. So that's what I use, and then I'll be editing those next week. But I'm curious about this specifically because with the first roll I developed, I shot using film that was expired, which is something I don't usually do. Usually I use my film quick enough so that I don't usually have expired film running around. But I had a roll of expired, and it expired June 2023. So I'm curious to see if, having been 2 years expired, if it will have any effect on image quality or anything like that. I didn't know I actually had that film lying around, so I was getting ready to shoot at the cemetery. This is the Hudson City Cemetery in Hudson, New York. And I was like, oh shit, I still had a roll. All right, well, let's pop it in, see what happens. Pop it in, see what happens. So as I get ready to say my farewells to you this evening, first of all, let's take a look to see if anyone is on for me to raid, to bring the party over to. Let's see. Oh, Tiny Dragon is actually streaming. Oh, yes. I'm going to do the thing. We're going to bring you all over to Tiny Dragon on Fire. Holy crap. I have not seen them in ages. So we're going to do that. So the next time I see all of you lovely people is going to be this Friday when I begin my playthrough of Chrono Trigger. Thank you, Veronica, Lena, Mary, for the donations. Also, Lena, thank you for the biddies. My first biddies back as a Twitch affiliate. So hopefully you enjoyed tonight's stream. Hopefully you learned a thing or two. And yeah, I'll see you Friday or this weekend or next week. So again, thank you so much for your company. I always enjoy the pleasure of it. So let's get that raid going to Tiny Dragon on Fire. And until I see you guys again, stay healthy, stay safe. Love ya. Good night. And joy be with you all, everyone. Be well.